Hello everyone, I am Kiran Joshi. Hope you all are safe and sound. Children, this is the first video of class 6 history chapter 10 New Empires and Kingdoms. Children, we have already learnt about the first empire of the subcontinent, which was the Mauryan Empire that lasted till 2200 years ago. For quite some time, there was no empire as vast and powerful as that of the Mauryas till the coming of the Gupta dynasty around 1700 years ago. Children, Samudragupta was a very famous ruler of this dynasty, that means Gupta dynasty. A long inscription inscribed about Samudragupta is found on Ashokan pillar at Allahabad. This long inscription was composed as a kavya or a poem by Harisena. Children, Harisena was a poet as well as a minister in the court of Samudragupta. This inscription was composed as Prashasti. Prashasti is a Sanskrit word which means in praise of. Prashastis were generally composed in form of a poem in praise of a ruler. And composing Prashastis became important from the time of the Guptas. So, what does this Prashasti tell about Samudragupta? The poet Harisena praised Samudragupta as a great warrior, as a victorious king who won many battles, as a learned and best poet. Samudragupta is described as equal to the gods. The Prashasti was composed in very long sentences. Here is a part of one such sentence. You will see this part and you will understand that when a small portion of the sentence is so big, then how big the sentence or how long the sentence could be. The part of this sentence describes Samudragupta as the warrior. It says, whose body was most charming, being covered with the plenteous beauty of the marks of hundreds of scars caused by the battle axes, arrows, spikes, spears, barbed darts, swords, iron clubs, javelins, barbed arrows, long arrows, and many other weapons. Children, Samudragupta was not only a great conqueror and a poet, he was also an accomplished veena player. His qualities are shown on coins, such as the coin here shows Samudragupta playing the veena. Samudragupta's Prashasti provides a lot of information about his achievements and administration also. Now look at the map in front of you. You will see some colorful areas on the map such as green, purple and blue, and some red dots on the east coast on the map. Children, Harisena describes 4 different kind of rulers and the different policies that Samudragupta adopted for them. So, those different kinds of rulers are shown through these different colors. The area, now focus your attention towards the green area on the map. The green area shown on the map was the area of the 9 rulers of Aryavarta. These rulers were uprooted by Samudragupta and their kingdoms were made part of his empire. That means the kingdoms were merged in the Samudragupta's empire. Now look at the red dots on the east coast on the map. These red dots were some of the capitals of the 12 rulers of Dakshin Patha. These rulers were defeated by Samudragupta, and when they surrendered to him, Samudragupta allowed them to rule again. That means they were submissive. After their defeat, they were submissive in front of Samudragupta, and therefore Samudragupta allowed them to rule the area or to rule their region. Then the purple area on the map is the inner circle of neighboring states including Assam, coastal Bengal, Nepal, and a number of Gansang on the northwest. The rulers in the inner circle brought tribute to Samudragupta, for Samudragupta, followed his orders, and attended his court. Uh, it means they were also submissive to Samudragupta. Then the blue color on the map shows the area of those rulers of the outlying areas. They were the descendants of the Kushanas and Shakas, and the ruler of Sri Lanka who surrendered to Samudragupta and offered their daughter's marriage with Samudragupta. Children, you will also notice some black dots on the map, which were the important cities. Pataliputra, Ujjain, and Prayag. Prayag was the old name of Allahabad. So, they were the important centers of the Gupta rulers. Children, through Samudragupta's Prashasti, we know about his genealogy. Genealogy means we get the information about his ancestors. Genealogy means the list of ancestors. So, we get the information of his ancestors like his great grandfather, his grandfather, father, and mother. His mother Kumara Devi belonged to Lichavi Gana, and his father was Chandragupta I. Chandragupta I was the first ruler of the Gupta dynasty who adopted the grand title of Maharaja Dhiraj. Then Samudragupta also used the same title for himself. While through Prashasti we come to know that his great grandfather and grandfather were simply mentioned as Maharaja. What does it mean? It indicates that the rulers of Gupta dynasty gradually, means slowly, gained power and importance. The next ruler after Samudragupta was his son Chandragupta II, or the more popular name is Chandragupta Vikramaditya. We know about Chandragupta II through inscriptions and coins. During his rule, the reign of Guptas reached its peak. He led an expedition. He means Chandragupta II led an expedition to western India where he conquered the Shaka kingdom and made Ujjain his second capital. Children, it is believed that his court was full of learned people such as the poet Kalidasa and the astronomer Aryabhatta. In the image in front of you, the first image at the bottom is of the astronomer Aryabhatta, and the second image is of the poet Kalidasa. The rule of the Guptas lasted for a little more than 150 years. So, children, you saw that inscriptions and coins were the main source of information about the Gupta rulers. Besides these, biographies also provide a lot of information about some kings. For example, the king Harshvardhana or Harsha. Harsha ruled about 1400 years ago. We know about Harshvardhana from his biography, which was written by his court poet Banbhatta. Banbhatta wrote his biography, which was named Harshcharita, in Sanskrit. Harshcharita mentions the genealogy of Harshvardhana. The biography ends with his becoming king. Children, we have learnt about Huensang, the Chinese pilgrim. So, Huensang visited the court of Harshvardhana and spent a lot of time there. Huensang left a detailed account of what he noticed in Harshvardhana's court. Children, Harshvardhana was not the eldest son of his father, but he came to power and became the king of Thanesar when he was just 16 years of age, after both his father and elder brother died. Harshvardhana's brother-in-law, who was the ruler of Kannauj, was killed by the ruler of Bengal. Then Harsha took over the kingdom of Kannauj and led an army against the ruler of Bengal. He conquered both Magad and Bengal and thus brought the eastern region under his control. But children, he was not successful in controlling the southern part. In his attempt to march into the Deccan, means the south, he tried to cross river Narmada. But here he was defeated by Pulkeshin II, the famous ruler of Chalukya dynasty. So now let's learn about the Pallavas and Chalukyas, the most important ruling dynasties of South India during that period. The Chalukya and Pallava kingdoms are marked in the map here, they are underlined. The Pallava kingdom stretched from the region around their capital Kanchipuram to the Kaveri delta. The Pallava kingdom is shown in pink color on the map in front of you. And the kingdom of Chalukyas was spread around the Raichur Doab. Doab means the area of two rivers, or where the two rivers meet. So the Chalukya kingdom's area was around Raichur Doab, between the rivers Krishna and Tungbhadra. The map in front of you shows the area of Chalukya kingdom in pink color. Aihole was the capital of Chalukya kingdom, as mentioned in your NCERT book. But children, in many places Chalukya capital is mentioned as Vatapi or Badami also. This capital city was not only an important trading center but also became a religious center with many temples. The Chalukyas and Pallavas were engaged in several battles with one another. Mostly the capital cities were attacked because they were the most important centers and very prosperous towns. Pulkeshin II was the most famous ruler of the Chalukya dynasty. You can see his image in front of you. The main source of information about Pulkeshin II is the Prashasti composed by his court poet Ravi Kirti. The Prashasti also mentions the ancestors of Pulkeshin II. It seems that Pulkeshin got his kingdom from his uncle. In the Prashasti, Ravi Kirti had provided accounts of Pulkeshin's campaigns along both the west and the east coasts. Moreover, Pulkeshin II also stopped Harshvardhana in his attempt of crossing Narmada. We just learnt about this, and defeated him in a historic battle at the banks of Narmada. In his account, Ravi Kirti used the words in an interesting way. For example, Harsha means happiness. In his Prashasti for Pulkeshin II, Ravi Kirti wrote that after the defeat in the battle, Harsha was no longer Harsha. Children, Pulkeshin II also attacked and defeated the Pallava king. Finally, both the Pallavas and Chalukyas were defeated by Cholas and Rashtrakutas. So children, this was a brief explanation of the empires and kingdoms that emerged during 1700 to 1400 years ago. In the next video of the chapter, we'll learn about the administration, the army, the assemblies and the common people in these empires and kingdoms. Till then, you try to solve these questions. The first question is, how does Samudragupta's Prashasti describe him? Second question, what was the difference between the way in which Samudragupta treated the rulers of Aryavarta and Dakshinpatha? Third question, what do you know about Harshvardhana? Describe the main events of his career. Fourth question, Pulkeshin II was the most famous Chalukya ruler. Explain in brief. Children, if you found this video helpful and wish to watch more of such content, do consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if you have any queries or comments, please post them in the comment section below. Thank you.